What's up, everybody? It's me, Joey P, Joe Pizzapia, back with another waiver wire video. It's week 4 in fantasy baseball, and I've got a closer for you. I got a bat for you. I got some pitchers for you. I got a lot of stuff that you need to pick up this week, but before we do that, there's something I want you to pick up, and it's this Jose Ramirez autographed jersey signed by me. No, not me. Signed by Jose Ramirez himself, but if you want to get involved in this giveaway, all you have to do is drop a comment below on any of our videos and subscribe to FantasyPros MLB. That's what you do, and that's how you get this Jose Ramirez jersey. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get back to the waiver wire for week 4. Here are the names that I want you to add to your rosters everywhere. Let's kick things off with a youngster here, Jonathan Clase, Seattle Mariners outfielder, coming in at 16% rostered. Clase was the class of AAA so far, hitting .311 with a .396 OBP, a .622 slugging, and 2 homers with 3 steals on the early season for Tacoma. And with the Mariners offense struggling in April, Clase got the call earlier this week, and the fact that he plays all 3 outfield positions means he is going to play every day for this team and hopefully help out that struggling Seattle lineup. So add him to your roster, especially in keeper league formats, because you just never know how good Clase could be now that he's got his shot at the big league club. The next guy on our list is a closer. It's Mason Miller from the Oakland A's, who qualifies at starter as well, rostered in just 64% of leagues. Look, Mason Miller right now should not be on the waiver wire anywhere, but for some reason, he's still available in nearly 40% of leagues, so I would be taking a crack on this kid. They're 8 innings so far this year. He has a whopping 15 strikeouts, just 3 walks. That whip is at 1.12, and the ERA is at 2.25. Now, I know the Oakland A's aren't going to rack up a ton of wins, but when they do get wins, they're probably going to be close games, not to mention the fact that Mason Miller, with his arm issues in the past, is somebody that's going to be treated with kid gloves. The best way to do that is to keep him as the closer all year, have him work at most back-to-back days, but then again, the A's would have to win more than 2 in a row for this to be an issue if I'm pitching a third day, so I wouldn't worry too much about that because the peripherals are going to be good. He is a dominant young pitcher, and probably the best spot for him right now at this juncture in his career is closing out games for the A's, and so far, he has converted all 3 of those opportunities, so if he's still floating around, add Mason Miller to your roster today. I told you about this guy in spring training, and now I think you believe me. Jose Butto of the New York Mets, starting pitcher who is rostered currently in about 30% of leagues. Now, Butto might have a tough start this weekend against the Dodgers, but regardless of that, you got to look at his first 12 innings and 2 starts and be impressed. 15 strikeouts, 4 walks, that whip is at .75, as is the ERA right now, and he was great against a really good Royals lineup last weekend, striking out 9 guys. Butto attacks the strike zone, he works quickly, and he's got the size that you look for, 6'1", 202 in terms of frame. So Butto is a pitcher that I think really the Mets have no excuse not to continue to let to make starts, because we all know eventually the Adrian Hausers and Sean Manayas of the world are not long for this rotation. They are not the future. They are stopgap guys, but Butto is the future. So as long as he continues to make good quality starts, I think Butto is going to get extra opportunities. And even if he gets sent down again, I still consider him somebody who might make at most maybe even 15 starts during the 2024 season, and that means something when you're playing in those deeper leagues. He's back already, and you should pick him up if he's still floating around. It's Junior Caminero, infielder for the Tampa Bay Rays. He just came back from a quad injury, and for some reason, maybe because of the injury, he's only rostered in about 60% of leagues right now. So if Caminero's still available, you should pick him up. In just a few short games to open the season, he was brilliant. A homer, a couple walks, a stolen base, and then unfortunately the quad issue happened. But he is back already, and it's only a matter of time before Caminero gets a shot with the big club. So if somebody in your league dropped him for some reason, or they just didn't have the roster space to keep him, now is your time to pounce and be patient. The ETA for him probably is sometime around the end of May, and that gives you a good 4 months of the productivity of a guy who can really be a game changer in your fantasy lineup. So Caminero is full systems a go for me in week 4. Next on our list is Jack Leiter of the Texas Rangers, starting pitcher, coming in rostered at around 50% of leagues already. Now, this took a big bump over the last couple days because Leiter was getting a start on Thursday. This video was being recorded before that start, but regardless, I think Jack Leiter is a guy that you want to pick up in leagues because over the long haul, they have a lot invested in Jack Leiter. He was the second overall pick back in 2021, and Jack Leiter, let's be honest, has struggled in most of his minor league career. He got back to basics this offseason, and all of a sudden, things look like they might have clicked for Jack Leiter. He has an incredible 25 strikeouts and just 3 walks over 14 innings with a 3.77 ERA at Round Rock this year and a .99 whip. Now, the Rangers rotation eventually is going to get a little full, especially when Max Scherzer comes back. But similar to that Jose Butto conversation we had earlier, Jack Leiter has the opportunity potentially to make more starts for the Rangers as the year goes on. You never know, more injuries will pop up, more opportunities. So if Jack Leiter continues to be dominant, there's a good chance the Rangers are going to try to get the most out of that draft that they had a few years ago when they spent that big time pick on him. So add Jack Leiter to your roster. This might be a good time to buy him in dynasty leagues as well, because it looks like he might have turned a corner. Lastly, for this week, we've got one more starting pitcher, Edward Cabrera, starting pitcher for the Miami Marlins, being rostered currently in about 50% of leagues. Now, Cabrera is kind of a dicey situation. He's only 26 years old, and he does have a history of walking the ballpark, but you can't ignore that first start of the year where he struck out 10 guys over 6 innings. So we always know that Edward Cabrera has big-time strikeout potential, even if the win totals for the Miami Marlins are going to be limited potentially at times for him. Going forward, I think Cabrera would be more of a spot starter guy, and I'm also more apt to probably pick up Max Meyer, who I mentioned last week in my previous video. Meyer got sent down surprisingly, so if somebody should drop him in your league, please, by all means, pick him up. He is the better long-term pitching prospect than Cabrera. But regardless, say it with me, folks, you can never have enough starting pitching, so add one or both of those guys if you can. But for now, Cabrera is up, and I already told you last week to add Max Meyer, so let's add Cabrera too. And maybe, just maybe, this is also a guy who's starting to mature as a pitcher. Time will tell, but pick your spots carefully and make sure you don't throw them against teams that walk a lot. All right, everybody, there you have it. Those are the names that I'm adding this week, but who are you adding? Drop your comments below. Let's talk about the waiver wire. Who has been the guy that's helped you the most off the waiver wire? Drop that comment below, and you just might win yourself a Jose Ramirez jersey if you do. Not too bad, so make sure you subscribe to the channel, ring the bell till it goes ding for notifications, and hang out with us every single day for the best fantasy baseball content on the planet, or at least on YouTube, right here at FantasyPros MLB. That'll do it for me, Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.